So let's start. Hello everyone, welcome to our first session of Android Development Series for Freshers. These series of sessions are being organized by Android team of Hackslash and DSC and ITP together for the induction in the Android team of these clubs. Myself Mayank Kumar, Android developer and Android team coordinator at Hackslash and ITP. In today's session, I will be helping you out on how you would be getting started in Android development domain and how you would be joining the Hackslash and DC Android team and start working on the club projects. So before we dive into the main content, here is the timeline for today's session. So first of all, I will give you a brief intro about the series of sessions. I will also be talking about how the evaluation process would work and how you would be joining Android teams of our clubs. After that, we will move on the main content of today's session. That is, I will give you an introduction to Android and Android development. I will talk about the benefits of being an Android developer. I will also talk about the tools and languages or frameworks that are used in Android development. Then we will have an overview of Android Studio. Next up, we will have our hands-on part in which I will be setting up our first Android project in Android Studio using Java programming language. I will also talk about the basic structure of an Android app. In the last part of this session, I would be resolving your doubts or queries that you might be having. Now, let's talk about how the sessions will go on and how the selection process would work. As I mentioned before, these sessions are being conducted in Android team of Hackslash and DSC and ITP. First session. In the sessions, you would be taught the basic concepts of Android development, mostly using Java programming language. You will also be introduced to Android development using Flutter in one of the sessions. After the completion of all the sessions, there would be an MCQ test just based on the concepts that would be taught in the upcoming sessions. I would recommend that you should try to attend maximum sessions to easily complete the test. Next up, we would be giving a simple Android project that you would need to develop by yourself and submit it. More details about the app that you would be developing would be announced shortly on the Slack channel. After that, there will be a common coding test that would be based on the basic coding concepts. It would be conducted by the coding team of Hackslash. All the new members would be giving this test no matter in which team they wish to join. But for joining Android team, you would be required to complete all the tests and projects. That is, first the Android MCQ test, second the simple Android app, and the common coding test. More details on each of them would be provided to you later on Slack only. Now, let's have a look on the schedule for the upcoming sessions. In the first session, I would be giving you all an introduction to Android development and intro to the main tool for Android development, that is Android Studio. The next session will be about views, layouts, and UI components, means how you would be working on the UI part of your app. You will also be taught how you would be using Java programming language to link up the UI components and make them interactive. Next up, you would be taught recycler view, that is one of the important part in Android development, and this basically what it does is that it helps you to easily populate a list of items on the screen. In the fourth session, you will be getting an overview of Android development with Flutter. In the last session, you will be taught about how you would be connecting your app to the internet and use APIs to fetch data from the web easily to display them into your app. Now, let's answer this question. What actually is Android development? So, as the name suggests, Android development is the process of building apps for the devices running on the Android operating system. I hope that everyone is familiar with Android operating system, since everyone now has a cell phone, Android phone with themselves. Next, now, why you should learn Android development, or what are the benefits of being an Android developer? Now, there might be many reasons for that, but let me tell you the main reason that motivated me to learn Android development. Now see, Android has become a very popular operating system nowadays. There are billions of Android devices currently running all over the world in the form of smartphones, tablets, smartwatches, smart TVs, etc. So when you would be starting to develop Android apps, you would be able to easily deploy your apps on these devices very easily. Besides this, there is Play Store that itself has a large user base, and even all the Android devices have Play Store pre-installed in them. So you could release your apps on Play Store and capture a large user base. Now, let's talk about some of the prerequisites for you to get started with Android development. The first thing required is the basic computer literacy. That is, you should be familiar with using a computer, like installing softwares. Next up, you would be requiring, obviously needing a computer where you would be actually developing your Android applications. Next up, there you will need a good internet connectivity for downloading softwares. It is also optional to have an Android device with you for testing your Android apps. It is also great if you have some familiarity with any of the programming languages. Now let's talk about the languages or frameworks in which you can develop Android apps. Now the first one is Java programming language. Was the first official language in which native Android apps were built. Also, Java is a very popular modern programming language. Now, another programming language in which Android apps are developed is the Kotlin programming language. It is the second official and programming language used for developing Android apps after Java. It helps in developing Android apps with relatively less code than Java, due to which it has quickly gained popularity. Next up, we have Flutter. It is basically an open source UI software development kit, which is itself developed by Google. It helps in developing cross-platform apps such as Android, iOS, web, and desktop with just a single code base. It uses Dart as its programming language. Next, we have React Native. It is also an open source mobile application framework which is developed by Facebook that you could use to develop native Android apps as well. Now, for the sake of our series of sessions, we would teach you Android development mainly in Java, as well as we will just give you a glimpse of Flutter as well in the upcoming sessions. If you want to learn Kotlin or React Native, there are a number of resources available on the web, so feel free to search for that. Now, let's talk about the main tool that you would be using to develop your Android apps. So, Android Studio is the professional development tool that even professional Android developers use to develop Android apps. It has many great features that would help you to develop Android apps very easily and smoothly. You can use Android Studio to develop apps in Java, Kotlin, or Flutter. It can be downloaded from developer.android.com website. A link to this would be provided in the resource sheet toward the end of this session. We will also give a hands-on tour in Android Studio in the later part of this session. Now, Android Studio provides a great feature, Android Emulator. It can be used to emulate various Android devices on your computer. This emulator allows you to run your app and provides almost all the capabilities that a real Android device would have. If you do have a physical device and want to use it for testing your Android apps, you can obviously do that by completing some of the setup that I will talk about later on. However, another great advantage of using an Android emulator is that you would be easily able to test your apps on Android devices with different specifications such as different Android versions, different screen sizes. However, another thing that I would like to point out is that Android emulator requires some higher specifications on your laptop to run properly or lag free. So you need to choose wisely. Mm, Now, let's look at the basic anatomy or the structure of a basic Android app. Android app mainly consists of activities, resources, manifests, and Gradle files. Now, let's talk about each of them in brief. An activity is how the user interacts with your app, and it takes care of creating creating a window to display your UI in. You can also think of it as the screen where you interact within your Android app. In our case, activities would be created in Java programming language. Resources are just the additional and static files that you would be using in your Android app, such as the layouts or design files, the images, the audios, some strings, themes, and many more. Every Android project also includes an Android manifest.xml file. It essentially describes the information about your app, such as the app's package name, components, the app's package name, components, and its version number, its name, and all the activities that your app basically contains. Now, next we have Gradle. So, Android uses Gradle to automate the and manage the build process for your app, and you can easily configure the build by modifying the Gradle files in your app to as any specific project. So you can specify their dependencies, which are nothing but the libraries or the external programs that your app is requiring. The properties of your app, like the app version, the build variants, and more. So this is just a quick overview of the structure of a basic Android app. And don't worry if you were unable to understand each of those. You would be more familiar with each of those when you will be starting to develop your Android apps. Now, with all that, let's have some hands-on part with Android Studio and set up our first Android app. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So before that, you would be requiring to download Android Studio. So you can just search on Google Android Studio, and the first link would be the official Android Studio download site. You just need to go here and just download Android Studio from here. After downloading, you just need to install it as you install your regular apps or regular softwares on your PC. So after installing that, this is what the Android Studio homepage would look like. So here we need to set up our first project. So we will just create on a create new project. So Android Studio by default offers various templates. So these are just the base various designs, pre-built designs that you can use in your app. So you can use a basic activity which just contains an app bar with an increment button. You can also choose full screen activity, maps activity, login activity, or scrolling activity. There are many more. So you can choose any one of those. But for now, I'm just using an empty activity, that is an activity or a screen that just contains an app bar with which contains the app name. And also you can see that Android Studio also offers support to various other devices, such as the smartwatches that are running Android on them. So you can also develop your app suitable for the watch as well. Similarly for Android TV, automotives, Android things. So for now, I'm just using the empty activity in phone and tablet option. So now we just need to add any application name that we want our app to be. So it can be any app. So I just so this is what I've just written first Android app as my application name. So this is the main part. This is the package name. So as the URLs or the websites are unique, similarly the package name for your Android project or Android apps need to be unique. So to make it unique, you can just use any of the your social media handles or your usernames to make it unique. Then it is the save location where my Android project would be saved. So you can change as per your need. So here I just need to choose the language in which I will be currently using Java. You can also switch to Kotlin, but for now I'm just using Java. So the next option is the minimum SDK part. You can simply understand it as what should be the minimum Android version on which your app needs to run. Okay, so you can choose. I've just choose a Android 5, that is Lollipop. You can also choose another minimum SDK. But the point is that if you will choose the Android version, more recent Android version, then it just gives you a hint that your app would be supported in less number of devices. So try to choose from lower Android version so that you can get the maximum number of devices. Also, let me tell you that if you choose more older versions of Android, then your app might lack in some functionalities that recent Android versions have. So I'm just using Android 5.1 for now. So after all that, I'm just clicking on finish. So it has started to set up my Android app. So let me again tell you this, that in setting up your first Android app, it would take some time. That doesn't matter on your PC specifications, because it needs to download for the first time only. It needs to download some files from the web as well. Okay, and even during the installation of Android Studio, it would take more time. Okay, it would yeah, as a I just guess that it would be taking up 2 GB of data almost in the first installation time. Okay, so don't think that it would just take 1 GB. So just install it. So let it finish. So you can see that no other process is running right now, means the Android Studio has finished up setting my Android app. Okay, so after the setting of Android app, remember to choose Android from here as well, so that it shows you proper files. However, you can also choose to view your files in different manner, but it would be cluttered. It means you would be confused that in which file you need to write your code. Okay, so just choose Android here as well. Okay, so it would show you the main files where you would be writing all your code mainly. Okay, so as I said before, every Android project consists a manifest file. So this is what a manifest file looks like. Okay, it contains my package name, and if my app uses any other permissions, like my app uses network, or my app uses camera, or my app uses location, I need to specify it here only. Okay, so it also contains my app name. This is Android level. So it also contains my first activity. So it just right now, it just my Android app just contains a single screen that it has named main activity. Okay, so where is my activity? This is the Java folder. Here is my activity. So this activity or this screen is actually coded in Java programming language right now. Okay, if you have seen Java before, so you might be little bit familiar with this syntax. Okay, so this is just the boilerplate code or the starter code for your app. Now, so this was the Java files, means the activity files where you would be writing all your code in Java programming language. So based on your need, means if your app contains more screens, then you would be creating more activities, and all the activities will be created here as well. So you can just click on here, and in new you can just create an activity. Again, you can choose any of them: empty activity or full screen activity, login activity, based on your need. So now here comes the resource files. So again, let me tell you that the Java folder also consists of these files. So these are just the test files. So you don't need to work in them in I guess, because I have not yet worked on them. But when you would be learning about the testing your app, means unit testing, that is another part of Android. So for testing your app, so you will be working on these files after learning that. So now here is the res folder, res directory that contains all the resources that my app is currently using. Okay, so the drawable folder that contains basically the images that my app is using. So if I need to use any image, I would be placing it in the drawable folder. Here is the layout file, layout directory that contains my current design of the app. So this is the current design. I just double click it and it opened in a beautiful tab, so that you can easily enter your design, or you can just pick and drop your elements that you want in your app. So now the next is another map. Map just contains the icons that your app is using. So currently it is only using the launcher icon. So this is our launcher icon right now. I would be showing you when I will run the app. And now the other directory is the values directory. It contains the colors that my app is currently using. So these are some of the colors that my app is using. So here is also the string tab, string file that contains all the strings, means all the constant strings that I want them to be constant in the app. So you can specify your string here. And you won't be working them right. Is the screen visible right now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it's visual.
Actually, there was an actual network glitch. So I thought, okay. So these are the Gradle files that you will be working when you will be integrating more libraries in your app. So let me just show you. So you can see that it contains some uh, ID of your app, the plugins. Here it contains the dependencies or simply the libraries that your app is currently using. Okay, so when you will be needing some more libraries or some more features in your app, they might not be available in Android. So you need to use some libraries. So the dependencies for the library you need to add here. Similarly, it contains the version number, the version code for your app. So it is just 1.0 version of our app. So let's just try to run this app. Now, as I told before, that the you will be running your app or either in your personal smartphone or in your emulator. So let me just show you first the emulator process. So you just need to click here. This is the AVD manager or Android virtual device manager that would manage your emulators. So I have some emulators pre-built, so but I will create one. So after clicking on create new emulator, you need to choose any phone name. These are just the Pixel phones. Okay, just the Pixel phones. So you can choose any one of them. It shows the screen sizes, resolutions. Okay, so you just choose any one of them. You can also choose from different categories. You can choose from different TVs, different Wear OS, means the different smartwatches, different tablets. Okay, for now I'm just choosing the phone, Pixel phone. After that, you need to choose the system image or the Android version that you want in your smartphone. Okay, so you can choose any one of them: Android R, Android Q, Android Pie, Android Oreo, any one of them. So you just need to download. So right now I have downloaded Android R, so I'm using this. Next, you need to name the device anything you want. Finish. And now my device has been created. So let me just boot it up. So as I told before, that an Android emulator requires some higher specifications to run properly. So obviously it is taking time here as well.
Sir, it's saying me to install Hypervisor driver.
Yeah,
So I have to install that.
hypervisor. I think that you have to install Intel Haxum, because I had to install Intel Haxum, and one more thing is that you need to enable virtualization in your BIOS by going into your BIOS menu of a laptop. So the BIOS menu is different for different manufacturers, so you can check. So there would be an option of enabling virtualization. Okay, so just enable that and try this. I guess this problem will be sorted. Okay, so just find how you can enter your BIOS menu and just enable the virtualization. So it has now booted up. So let me just run it. So you can see that here in the devices tab, it is showing that one phone is online. That is my current emulator. So just play on the run button. So it is now starting to build my Android app. So it will also take some time in the first try. So but in the successive tries, it will take lesser time. So it is just creating the APK. Okay, that you, I guess you have heard already. Okay, so all Android applications are just APKs. So it is just a simple compressed pack that contains all your code and all your features of the app. So my build process is successful and installing my app. So this is my app right now. So it just says the first Android app, and the button uh, that I've added here. Let me just, so this was the button. Just you can position it. I've just positioned it here, so you can see that my button will be here now. So after I've done some changes, I can just click here, apply changes, and restart the app. So it will just make the changes, and my app will be restarted. So it says that I need to install it. Just click on, if you get some error like that, many of the error in Android Studio provides you a hyperlink, okay, to fix that error. So you can just click on that hyperlink. So it is saying me to reinstall and restart the app. I will just click it here, and everything works fine. So my button is placed.
CPU. Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, sir, the CPU usage is going up to 97, 98% when I'm switching on this virtual device. Why so?
Yeah, that's why I said that basically Android emulator requires some higher specifications. Okay, so even in my Lappy, it is taking some time to start and run. It is also lagging somewhat. So that is why it is recommended to use, try to prevent its usage. Means you should to use it when you are finalizing your app. Okay, mainly you should try to use your original smartphone. I will uh, tell about the setup process right now of your smartphone, what you need to do there as well. So
Okay, sir.
let me again just change the text here. So you can tap on any of the element and click on the attributes pane to change whatever you need. So I just need to change this hello world. So let me just change it. So it would be a text. So this is just hello world right now. So I am changing it to hello everyone. Okay. So my text is now changed, and I can just restart my app from here as well. So it will just change the text here. Okay, so basically the layout section contains 3 tabs. The first one is the design tab, where just you need to pick and drop the elements that you want in your app. Okay, the second one is the split tab that contains the actual code that is being written behind the scenes. When you are adding the elements from the design tab, behind the scenes some code is being written that is being written in XML language. Okay, so the word sounds similar to HTML language. The word sounds similar to the HTML language. So here the XML code is being written automatically. Okay, but sometimes you need to modify the code from here as well. So you will be learning that as well. Similarly, there's another just the code tab. So it just hides me the preview pane. Okay. Now let me just show you the setup you need to do in your actual smartphone. So I'm just showing it by the help of emulator as well. Okay, so this uh, process will be similar. You just need to go to the settings of your smartphone and just you need to go search build a number. So here it is showing me the build number. So here is the build number. So you just need to tap it 4 to 5 times. It is showing that you are 3 steps away from being developer. Okay, sounds funny. And you are now a developer. Okay, so what it actually did is it has enabled the developer options. Okay, the secret options of any Android smartphone. So you can just go to developer options. Just so here it is showing developer options. Just go here and you need to enable USB debugging. Okay, you need to enable USB debugging from here. After enabling USB debugging, you just need to connect your smartphone to your PC, and there would be a pop-up in your smartphone that it needs to access the USB debugging from your phone. Just allow it, and you will easily able to find your smartphone name in the devices tab here. So just the rest of the process is just same on how you will be running the app. You just need to click on the play button and it will start to build and install the app on your real smartphone as well. Okay, so as I said before, and as I guess that many of you might be having some issues with the virtual device, that is the Android emulator, because it takes much more resources of your PC to run smoothly. Okay, so that's why I when I was having a low spec PC, so I usually try to develop and test my app in my real smartphone so that my build process is smooth. Okay, because the problem with the virtual device was that it first of all it takes time to start, then it takes time to build and install the app. Okay, so it takes much of your time. That is why I will recommend that during the regular testing process, just test your app with your real smartphone. Okay. So but if you want, you can use your Android emulator during the final part when you finally want to publish your app and you just want to test the compatibility of your app with different screen sizes or different Android operating systems. Means there might be some cases that your app is crashing in one of the Android versions. Okay, so you can test during that part. So don't test it in the regular testing part. So let me just stop it. So this was the Android emulator.
Sir,
Yeah.
So when I'm going in on my phone inside the developer options, it is showing log output level as verbose, and there's no USB uh, option that I can see. Show TTS
You
output
try.
and no to debugging.
You can try to search USB debugging. Please try to search in the settings.
USB tethering and USB settings, yes.
Okay. So I hope that slide is again visible. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So with that, now here are some of the resources that I will suggest you to go through. The first one is the official Android Studio download page, where you would be required to download Android Studio on your computer. The next one is the official Android developers official Android developers page, where you would be able to find various other great resources that would help you to in Android development, and you will also be up to date with the latest advancements in Android development. There are being regularly great updates here as well. After that, there is Android developers official YouTube channel to be updated as well. Next up, there is the free Udacity Java programming course to help you quickly get started in Java programming language, so that you can easily develop your Android apps. And if you have familiarity with any of the programming language, you it won't take much of your time to learn Java. After that, there is another course on Android development basics from Udacity to help you get started with Android development. It also contains one part where the Android Studio setup will go on. So, and these are also various very beginner friendly course. Okay, so none of your pre-knowledge is required. Now, for the sake of information, let me tell you the in the Android MCQ test, there won't be any questions from these resources. The questions would be just from the topics that would be covered during the sessions. These resources are just being provided for the sake of your knowledge, so that you can easily get started with Android development. So you also don't need to worry about that. So thanks a lot for joining the today's session. I hope that you all enjoyed this session, and I wish to see you all in the next session. Other Android team coordinators would continue from here on the next session. I would also recommend before the next session, please try to install Android Studio. Please try to install Android Studio on your PC or laptop, so that you can also try out hands-on during the session. Ask your doubts if you have.
So I have downloaded the Android Studio, but it has been like when I run the file application, it is downloaded in the form of files in a folder. So which one do I need to extract for the application to start running?
Have you installed means you have just downloaded or installed Android Studio?
So I have downloaded the Android Studio and then I've installed. But when I'm installing the files, they are being imported as files, normal files, like in a folder they're getting exported. There's no shortcut that is coming out after I've run the file or the application.
Okay, so uh, will you be able to show that right now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please.
So I'm just sharing my slide. Give me a minute.
Okay, okay. I'm just making a presenter. Others, if you have any doubt, please raise your hand.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah,
Sir, in installation, it is asking about the type of setup. Sir, it is standard or custom?
standard.
Okay, sir.
Everything by default, whatever it is checked, you just install it because you haven't installed it previously. So basically, it is just asking that if you have previously used Android Studio in any of your other laptops and you want to import the settings from there, you can do that so that the setup process would be easy.
Okay, okay, sir. Thank you.
So is my screen visible?
1 minute. Yeah, it's visible now.
Yes, sir. So this is the one, the highlighted one I've downloaded, and when I'm running the file, this folder is getting downloaded. And like this is all what is inside the folder.
So okay, so close that window.
This one?
Yeah, yeah, and again click on Android Studio.
This one?
Yes.
Shall I run the file?
Yeah,
And
I run it. So actually, I guess you have not installed it yet. Okay, so it's just
no,
the installation.
I did. After this, it asks me whether I want to uninstall the previous installed version. When I run the file again.
Okay, means you have already installed that.
Yes, sir. So the installed is this folder only, which I'm showing you. This is what is getting installed. Because when I
Okay, okay. Find Android Studio from the start menu.
okay, sir.
Yes, I guess it has been installed. There was the icon. Yeah, Android Studio. Yeah, it might take some time because I guess your system is slow a little bit.
Yes, sir. So if it doesn't run, then I'll ask you again.
Yeah,
I'll,
yeah, sure. Listen, if you have any queries or anything, you are basically being a part of a community. Okay, so
yes,
feel free to post that in the Slack channel, Android Fresher Slack channel. Okay, so others will be helping you out, and even I will be helping you out.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Anyone else having any query?
Actually, so
Yeah, yeah.
in the Android study guides, we learn Android study using Kotlin language. Here we are learning Java. So what will be the changes? Only the where we do the editing that will be changed. Huh? that .xml file will be same only.
Yeah, .xml file will be same, means the programming language that you are using here and there will change. Okay, means in Kotlin, in the case of Kotlin, there will be you will be using the features of Kotlin programming language. In the case of Java, you will be using the features of Java programming language. Okay, means I told you that there are the different methods or the different frameworks that in which Android development is done, but every framework has its advantage and every framework has its disadvantage. Okay, means some of the languages or frameworks have a lot of support, but others do not. But the different frameworks are easy to implement, means you can develop Android apps way more easily from there, but the support is lagging there. Okay, so every framework or every language has some of the demerit, but Java is the base. Okay, means Android development in Java is the base. So after this, you won't be there won't be any issue to switch any framework or to learn any other framework. Even I am doing Android development in Flutter, Java, and Kotlin as well. Okay, so just it should be fine.
So again, you told that Kotlin is officially accepted by Android, and it is the official language. So what is the need
Yeah,
for Java? Java
bas-
was previously used, and if you
basically
learn Kotlin
Java
now.
basically Java was the first official Android language and acceptable Android language. Okay, but Kotlin became famous later. Okay, so even the old Android apps are still being run on Java programming language. Okay, so that's why. And as I told you just now that the difference is in the support, means what kind of support do you get in different programming languages. Okay, so various libraries are available in Kotlin and various libraries are available in Java as well. Okay, so this is the difference.
So can we use libraries of Kotlin in Java and library of Java and Kotlin? That interchange can be done.
So let me tell you that I've also told this during the annual study jams that Java and Kotlin are interoperable. That is, you can add as much of Kotlin in your Java app or as much of Java in your Kotlin app. Okay, that works fine. So this is one of the advantage. Okay, you can use both of them. There's no issues.
So regarding efficiency, if we will talk, let the better smooth experience like that. Kotlin is better.
So in the case of Kotlin, I guess that the main advantage is that you get some language features. Okay, language features, that is you are able to complete your app or you are able to complete finish any of the feature in less code in comparative to Java. Okay, so that's the case actually. But as I told before, the support is what matters here as well. Okay, so when during the session of Flutter, you will see that Flutter is also a great framework, because from there you will be able to develop Android apps, uh, Android iOS for web, from for desktop from the single code base. Means just from the one code base, you are deploying your app to all these platforms. Okay, but again, the support that Flutter is getting, means the support is increasing day by day. Okay, the popularity of Flutter, the popularity of Kotlin is increasing day by day. Okay, but it can't be like a digital logic from 0 to 1 instantaneously. Okay, it is just an exponential curve like that. Anything else? Any more doubts? Fine. So I'm ending the session now. So for the other sessions, you will be notified on the Slack channel there as well by the respective coordinators. Okay. So I again would suggest that try to join as much session as possible so that you will get the best from here. Okay. So, and also have a look at the resources that are being provided. Okay, so I will be sharing the PPT on the Slack channel itself. Okay, few after few moments later, and the recording for this will be also available. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.